Good evening. Welcome back to Follow We Will Legends podcast this Wednesday evening with myself, Lindsay Glenn, and Stan Gordon. Stay tuned and get your questions in early and share our podcast around social media to support us. As always, we thank our amazing sponsors who are on board with our podcast. Please check out their social media pages and websites for information on supporting our like-minded people's businesses, first and foremost. We have Milncroft Construction, Athol Solutions, Avia Signs, The Gallant Pioneer in Blackpool, the Bluebell Bar Tenerife, Tate Transport Solutions, DGG Freight Logistics, AK Blinds and Shutters, Ayrshire Tree Surgeons, Mac Network Services, Big Tam's Ices, Gart Craigan, Ernock Builders, Clearwater, Impact Signs, Cube Glass, Nith Valley Home Improvements and NCL Contracts. If you would like to be a sponsor of our podcast and appear on one of our next shows, get in touch with myself or Stan. Remember, if you're on YouTube, give us a like and subscribe to our show, or if you're on any of our other social media platforms, remember to like, comment and share. Now, joining us tonight, we have Rangers legend. He made 370 appearances for the club, won a league championship, 2 Scottish Cups and 4 Scottish League Cups. We have Mr. Bobby Russell joining us this evening. How are you, Bobby?
I've got to correct you, 3 Scottish
Oh, well,
Cups.
there you go. You don't need to correct me. You need to correct Wikipedia.
It also says in Wikipedia that I played for a broth, which I didn't.
No. Also joining us tonight, we have Mr. Ian Martin. How are you doing, Ian? You've been on the show plenty of times before, the owner of Athol Solutions.
Yep.
I'm sure our viewers know you very well by now.
Yep.
So welcome, gentlemen.
Well, we were quite lucky the last time he was on. We had 6,500 watched the show that last time.
It's
you were
because I'm the eye candy. That's what it is.
I thought that myself because we never got that with any of this. Well, welcome to the show, guys. We'll start with yourself, Bobby. You signed for Shelton Juniors 1977. You make your debut at 20-year-old. Become a regular on the right side of midfield. We won the treble that year, I believe, didn't we?
We did indeed, yeah.
Aye. Who was the other midfielders in the midfield when you joined? There must have been a lot of experience in the team at that time.
A right crabbit guy called Alec McDonald.
Doddy,
yeah, but what a player. Superb. Gordon Smith as well. A lot of people think he was a centre forward, but he actually played from midfield and made darting runs, and he was serviced by Tommy McLean and Davy Cooper, 2 no bad players.
Aye, well, believe it or not, I've had Gordon on and he said that he was actually signed for him. People always say centre forward Gordon Smith, and he said no, it was like they didn't have it at that time, like a number 10, like the way the Rangers have got the new, like the one forward, the number 10 breaking into the box and stuff. But for your first season, getting the treble, brilliant,
Well, you're talking about a team full of winners. They won the Cup Winners' Cup. Best achievement in the club's history. So you walk into that changing room my first day and you look around, you see Peter McLeod, John Gregg, Sandy Jardine, all these guys. I mean, it was just, wow. They were superb players, knew how to win games. Okay, the season, before I went there, it was barren, but they'd won the treble before that, the year before.
That's right, missed a year.
They know how to win. They know how to go over the line. And it was a pleasure to play with them.
Brilliant.
Bobby, when you signed in 1977...
Sorry, I've got to correct you again there. It was 76.
Stan?
Well, that was Wikipedia.
I know.
77? It was 76. I signed provisionally in 76.
I should have thought
under the understanding that I would be...
Was that provisional?
I was playing for Shelton Juniors and they were still in the Scottish Cup. So the agreement was I wouldn't go to Rangers until we were knocked out and we got to the semi-final.
Oh, right, okay.
So I actually signed in 76.
So in 76...
What I would say is, just a wee plug, all of this is actually in the book.
We know that. Yeah, we know that. Davy Cooper also signed along.
He did, yes.
How was that playing with Davy alongside?
Well, I'll say this quickly. I had a trial with Clydebank and Davy was there. I didn't play with Davy that day. I played for the Clydebank reserves against Dundee United. And the guy that was in charge of Clydebank at the time was a man called Jack Steedman.
Right.
Yep, aye.
And he wanted to sign me right after the game to play with Davy at Clydebank. But I'd already promised to go and have a trial with Rangers. So I went and had a trial with Rangers, signed for Rangers. And of course, Davy came to Rangers as well. So we eventually kind of played together.
You'd have been quite young then when Bobby made his. I think I looked at you would have been 3.
Well, it was a way back then. It was, if you talk to every Rangers fan that said that they were at the games that had 5,000, then there was about 60,000 there, the games. But I remember back in the 80s is when I really started going. And it was hard for these guys in front of, a lot of fans.
Yeah, well, particularly at the time when Bobby there, I remember with Clydebank, as it went to 2 or 3 replays, and Davy Cooper played for Clydebank at the time, and we couldn't beat Clydebank in the cup, and we had to play them on a Saturday, a Wednesday, and then a Wednesday again or something like that. And it took about 3 games before we eventually beat them, and then Davy Cooper came with yourself.
That's right.
I remember that season pretty well.
I know it's a terrible thing to say, and I don't want Bobby punching me, but I remember him more or less for the 1991 Scottish Cup, but the Motherwell Dundee United.
Oh yeah, 92.
92.
No, you're right. It was 91.
It was more, everybody got to know the Dundee United in that game. That was, there was a lot of legends in that. Aye. So it was towards the end of his career that I kind of knew him. It was the same as, it's a terrible thing to say, but I only really remember Sandy. I've seen Sandy Jardine in the DVDs and that, but I only really remember Sandy when he was at Hearts.
Is that right? Oh,
Which is, but you go and remember, I'm not as old as you.
No, I know that. That's true. I know that.
Don't look at me like that. Seriously, don't look at me like that.
Well, I don't know if it's on record or anything, but I honestly, since you signed, I can't remember anybody else coming for a junior team to Glasgow Rangers.
No, the kind of thing that they did was they would give a player out and loan to maybe a short.
Aye, but you came straight for it. You weren't out on loan.
Yeah. It's one of these kind of things where I was lost to football. I was told I wasn't good enough. I spoke to Chris about that earlier on there. A horrible thing for anybody to say to a young lad, you're not good enough. And I said, well, I worked with the youth development at Rangers for 12 years. I would never say to a kid, you're not good enough. Mm-hmm. You've maybe not done enough to merit getting a contract, but never say to a kid, you're not good enough. No,
it's not the best.
So, I mean, my journey, again, no plug in the book, it's in the book, where I was lost. I stopped playing football when I came back from Sunderland. And I was in a pub team playing darts and pool. And it was one of my brother's friends that said, look, I run a football team, a pub team, do you want to play? And that was the start. That got me back into football.
Right.
I went, within 6 months, I was signed for Rangers.
I can understand that, because I think it would be a wee bit demoralising if you've built yourself up and then to get to somebody to say that to you.
I went down to Sunderland when I was 15 and a half years of age, and I wasn't ready for it. It was a major boo-boo. And when they said they were releasing me, there was a man called Peter Docherty said, I can maybe get you over to New Zealand on a visa and play part-time. Now, I was homesick down in Sunderland. What's going to be like going to New Zealand? You can't get a train there, can you?
And what year was it you signed with Motherwell then? Was that 1987?
Correct.
I was 4, so I don't remember you playing with Rangers or Motherwell, to be fair. I was only 4.
Well, I'm not really a stats man, but I believe that I'm in the top 10 of getting to 300 appearances. The quickest, I think, Connor Golson's actually number 1. So
right.
I'm right? About 4th or 5th. And the other stat, which it was on a quiz, the most consecutive cup finals. And the player that's at the top of that is Ronnie McKinnon. He's played 15 consecutive Scottish or cup finals. That's Scottish Cup and League Cup. Wow. And I'm second with, guess who? Old Grumpy Doddy. And I'm quite proud of that. That I played 14 consecutive
cup finals. Yeah, I probably was at every one of them too.
Probably. Needless to say, I didn't win them all, but that's another story.
Well, we'll go to your book now. I don't know if you've seen the title of the book. It's From Easter House to Eindhoven.
Yeah.
How did the book come about, Bobby?
A chap called Ross Wilson phoned me a few times and and convinced me that it was worthwhile doing. Again, you know, the party is to try and motivate kids who maybe are discriminated against because of their height, which I was big time. Rangers, I was there at 12 years of age, and Wally Thornton said I was too small, and actually advised my dad to feed me yeast. To try and get me to yeast.
I wonder what the physios at Rangers and the doctors at Rangers would say to that now. Yeah?
And of course,
A pint of Guinness.
Yeah, Sunderland did the same. You know, they said I was too small, and that, you know, blah blah blah. So, it's the book. He convinced me, and I wasn't totally 100%. I must admit, but I met him numerous occasions in the pub. So a couple of beers helps, kind of freshens your mind a wee bit. So eventually, the story just kept flowing out, and he did all the work really. So I hope it's successful.
You're 10 years at Rangers, so you get plenty of stories. And I've interviewed you loads of times with Q&As and stuff, and I know you have.
Yeah.
So I'm actually looking forward to reading the book because I have heard a lot of good stories with characters that's been there with yourself, you know.
The funny thing is the title of the book came up by being in the pub again with my couple of mates, and we got a wee bit of a shine on our faces, and they were saying, what are you going to call your book? And one of them said, what about From Easterhouse to Eindhoven? And I went, yeah, that's...
It just clicked.
It just can't get any better than that.
No, definitely. And as I say, obviously in the book, you're saying for Easter to Eindhoven. I don't know if you know, Lindsay, but they hadn't been beat in Europe at home for, was it 32 years or something?
No, I don't think it was as long as that. I think it was 10 or 12 years. Then they've been beat at home in a European tie.
And we got a draw at Ibrox, and we never ever thought we were going to go to Eindhoven and get a result. And Bobby scored the winner to make it 3-2. And it's still one of the biggest achievements with
If you
Rangers.
talk about the start of the game, so my uncle's done, and he might have had a shine about his face. I know, so he's done having a refreshment, and he walks up, and it's like 5 minutes into the game, and I think we were getting beat 1-0, and he's like, aye, they scored in the first minute. My uncle's, don't talk nonsense, right? And he's walked up and showed his fate, but we went on to win it. Yeah. But I think they scored in the first minute.
That was a
They
great
scored very
goal.
early on.
It was a great goal they scored to win it with a rocket.
Alec Cameron says a very, very thing. He was at the game, but he went for a break, went to the toilet.
Aye.
And when he came back out, Doddy scored to make it 1 each, but he thought it was 1-0.
Still.
Yeah. And it wasn't until somebody says, no, that's 1 each now. He went, what, did I miss a goal?
Oh, I don't know if you ever did you play in the game? I don't know if you played. You probably would have. I remember going to Firth Park. Rangers was playing Motherwell, and they were a crush going in, and I had a broken collarbone at school, and the Polish took me to the road and kept me to the side for a wee bit. I was only young, and then they let us into the ground, and the two teams came out, and all the fans were clapping the two teams. So Rangers scored, and I said to the boy next to us, oh, you cracker, that's a good goal, get an early 1-0. And he says, no, we're getting beat 2-1. The Rangers fans invaded the park. Do you remember that?
Was that against Motherwell?
Uh-huh.
I remember
The
that.
Rangers fans invaded the park, and they took the two teams off to clear the park with the Rangers fans and started the game again. Rangers beat them 5-2.
Is that right?
They beat 2-0.
I'm going to correct you here again, Stan. It was 2-0.
This is great.
That's what I said, it's 2-0.
No, you said it was 2-1.
No, when I came in, Rangers
Oh, right,
scored.
sorry. Right.
Aye, when I came in, Rangers scored. And I
Huh?
said to the boy, that's great, Rangers are 1-0 up. And he went, no, we're getting beat
Was that
2-1.
up that old gravel hill?
Oh, aye,
remember
aye.
that at the back?
And it just shows you how you get things wrong at football. What you're saying there, you go to the toilet or you miss something, you know.
I'll say you were 2-1, right? You're right, but it was 5-3.
Was it 5-3?
I hate being right, but
I know.
5-3.
I'm glad you're right. That's why you're here.
And
I didn't know they scored again. I couldn't mind
Johnson
him
scored
scoring.
a hat-trick that day.
Aye. And they ran amok. If the Rangers ran amok,
Yeah.
didn't they?
Yeah. Motherwell are quite a good footballing side,
Aye, you had Wally Pettigrew and Marinello and guys like that.
but they had a few. The boy McVeigh at the back.
Aye, Hardy
And
man.
I'm not saying this in a bad way, Gregor, Gregor Stevens.
Bonkers.
I loved Gregor when he was at Rangers, but he was
Because you were
he was
fearful.
hard as nails. I was frightening a lot of them, I'm telling you.
They've kicked his granny, weren't they?
How do we go about buying the book? How do we get?
How do we go about that, Bobby?
Don't go to Amazon. No, I'm not going to say don't go to Amazon. Ross is, at this moment in time, trying to get an app up and running, a web. And I think it's Bobby's book or something like that. So that'll be coming out maybe next week sometime. You can go to the bookstores and Silverburn, Amazon as well. There's different avenues where you can
let
get
me
the book.
know when the app comes up, and we'll put it on our pages.
Yeah.
But I've got Bobby's coming in the 18th into the pub.
Well, we've got
a wee book signing, so
Yeah.
we've got that group on Facebook, the Rangers Buy and Sell. So if you can send me a link to it, we've got about 8,000 members on it. So if you can send me the link, I'm quite sure.
we're the
I
same.
can-
Aye, definitely.
Aye, that would be.
Aye.
You know,
And
that
as I
would be
say, Ian, you're welcome to come along. We'll do a wee Q&A with Bobby, and
fantastic.
we'll do a book signing in the pub.
That's for 3:00 in the Stonefield Tavern on the 18th of May.
Aye.
For anybody that
think
wants to
it's
come along.
Rangers versus Hearts.
Aye.
Yeah.
Watch a game. Hopefully, we've won the league that day.
Well, I hope so.
Or maybe have a win before that.
Well, we're just coming to that, Ian. Ian, it's getting near the end of the season now, right? Obviously, we all know we missed a big opportunity with the Old Firm.
Huge opportunity. The first half, we were making mistakes, shall we say? But we've watched these players making mistake after mistake after mistake. Need to cut it out. I think the manager's been fantastic since he came in. He's got a lot at them. But the board, we all know the board have to support him in the summer. We've said over the past few years that there's got to be an overhaul. But I think not just the first team, I think there's got to be an overhaul of the whole club. I think it's come out today that even Zeb Jacobs is talking about leaving the club. The director, the youth, the academy.
They've no long had him here. Are they?
When did they come in?
2 seasons ago, 3 seasons maybe, if you're lucky.
To be honest, we go and watch the youths and we watch the under 18s and we watch the B team, but I don't see how they're progressing. Personally, I think coming out that B team league was a mistake because the B team players were getting competitive games. I think I'm right in saying this season they've only played 4 or 5 competitive games. And that's in the Challenge Cup. I don't know the Glasgow Cup as well, but even the Glasgow Cup's lost its, coming out of the B League.
Well, you've nothing to play for then, really.
So we're organising friendlies here and there. So they're playing maybe every second week, third week against whoever we can find in a friendly. I don't believe that's bringing the boys on. There's no
Motivation to keep going.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no winning mentality
Exactly.
going to get set into young boys if they're not playing for something.
There's a big difference between playing a friendly and playing competitive football, in my opinion.
100%.
Well, the thing that you maybe not said is that match fitness
Exactly.
is a key thing.
Yeah, well,
I mean, when you come back from pre-season training, you can train like madmen. You think, yeah, I've got good fitness here. Then you play in a game, and within 20 minutes, you're breathing really heavy and you're struggling. You need games to get up to scratch with your fitness level.
Totally.
I didn't even actually agree with them doing away with the reserve league.
Well, they haven't. That's the thing. There is a reserve league, but we just don't enter into it. I don't think Celtic. I don't think.
When
Hearts,
you were coaching the boys and that, they did with the reserve league then, Bobby?
Yeah, I think there was. But I was working with all the different age groups underneath that. I was only part-time. So, but it was, we had a discussion about that earlier on as well. It's called development. So you're playing 3.5-hour games. And it was great. I did it for 12 years. And I mean, some great kids came through. Burkey, Stephen Hughes, Steve McLean, Charlie Adams. I mean, it was a conveyor belt. I mean, the supporters were looking for it when it was Murray Park when it opened up. So, 6 months into it, and they're saying, where's all the talent? And there was talent there.
But I think, honestly, you've got to get back to then before you see a conveyor belt of talent like going through. Because I think Bomber was the reserve manager at that time. And he was lucky enough and he got guys coming through yourself, like Burkey, Alan Hutton, Alan McGregor to a certain
Barry
extent,
Ferguson,
Stephen Smith.
John Fleck.
Do you
John
know the
Fleck.
biggest problem with that, Stan? Do you, in my opinion, right? And I've said it to the manager's face a few weeks ago. We've got no Scots players. No. Now, if you take a scenario of just now, if you look at the first team, there's a potential for Jack to go.
Mm-hmm.
There's a potential for Wright to go. In my opinion, McCrory and McLaughlin's going to go. You're taking that out, then you've got the youth players that he's put on the bench, right? Some of the youth players like Robbie Fraser are out of contract and are going, well, I'm not getting a chance. So, and then you've got Leon King. And we've spoke about this several times. Those teams will come in and for these boys' development, they've got to be playing football. So I think, personally, we have a problem.
No, I agree with you. And I think in your time, it was a thing he's done. He's had reserve players on the bench, that when you played in the 70s, they always brought guys through and they get a wee bit of a game and they would be in the squad. And even a thing that I think we spoke about before too was with Rangers and now the young boys and the boys that are chatting at the door to come in with the first team don't train with the first team. They don't see them. They get into Murray Park and they're at a different part of Murray Park.
No, there is some of them.
Don't
There is
integrate.
some of them. There is some of them. They take them. So I was at the under-18s game last Friday and I was sitting next to one of the under-18 players who will remain nameless, right? And I was talking away to him and what he said was, during the week, they took me and told me I was to train with the first team. He says, Ian, my legs are done. He said, I'm trying to keep up with he's a young boy, but he says, and he'll remain nameless in case he's watching. And he said to me, he said, my legs are falling, they were like tree trunks. He says, I'm trying to chase the midfield. He said, the step up is huge. He said, I'm trying to keep up with them. He said, but these are guys that are at the top of the league, or, and I'm trying to keep up with them. He said, and it's no that simple. He said, because I'm not playing competitive games every week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not playing every week.
As Bobby said,
You
match
see-
fitness.
In the match fitness.
Your match fitness has got to come into it.
I've got
Yeah,
another
yeah.
Wikipedia stat here.
Want me to double check
Might
it?
be right, it might be wrong. There's 30 players in the Rangers squad at this moment in time. 22 of them are non-Scottish. So there's only 8 Scottish and 3 of them are goalkeepers. Then you've got Jack.
Yeah.
So, and then the young
Yeah,
kids
that's
that you're
And
talking
Jack's
That's
another
true.
potential not to be here.
about. And I'm not saying that.
He will not be.
See, if we're moving on, right? See if we're talking about the first team. I'm going to be honest. You've got 2 of the keepers leaving, which leaves you Jack Butland. If somebody comes in with a bid of 10 million, it's going to be very hard for, in the current climate and the situation that we're in, for us to keep a hold of him. I think it was a very bold move by the manager to drop Golson at the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to go into that. Hold on.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got Balogun's out of contract.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't fancy Davies. It's obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Aye,
And
he'll
then
be-
that's leaving you John Suter. Ridvan will stay. If you put a gun to my head, I think Tav will leave this summer.
I think so.
I think he's going to leave. I think there's a few murmurings. Then you've got Lundstrom in midfield, whose wages I don't know that we can afford. I don't know if there's got to be a compromise. I think Ipswich are talking about signing him, giving him 1.7 million up front. You've got Jack.
Nah.
then Raskin, which the manager obviously doesn't
Doesn't
fancy
fancy.
because he's
No.
so far out of the team, it's unreal. We've got 3 loan players, which, if we're going to be truthful, can we afford any of them? Cortez, Sima, or Silva. Up front, you've got Roof's going to leave. He's leaving you 2 strikers. If the manager's going to bring in another striker, I think one of the 2 is possibly going to move. Then on top of that, I'm sounding like doom and gloom here. On top of that, you've got Hadji to come back. Cifuentes hasn't kicked a ball for the team in Brazil. You've got Lammers. Remember him?
And he's playing brilliant.
And do you know who's actually playing well? And nobody's mentioning him. The boy Divine at Motherwell is apparently getting rave reviews.
I watched Motherwell against Morton, and he was outstanding. And against Celtic at the end, they took him off, and Celtic scored at Fir Park.
Yeah,
by all accounts, he was having a great game. I like him. I like him anyway.
But the point I'm making, I know our season tickets have went up by a couple of quid, shall we say? But we need to either back this manager or
because that was that's what I was just about to say. It's not just the goalkeeper we're going to lose. Then it's going to be the manager as well.
Well, the thing
we've
about
got to get the backup, we've got to get the support.
Right now, we're in a very precarious situation. As I said to the manager, how do you see it with the Scots players? How do you see it? And he's like that. We have to get our recruitment right in the summer. But
many seasons have you said that
again? But they've brought the boy Niles, and he's, I think he's working with a manager. But that's where you're hoping that you're going to bring somebody through for the youth.
You're looking for a gem.
You're looking for a gem.
But did you not see the thing? I don't know if you maybe know more about it, Ian, about the Goldson's interview about the young players.
Yeah.
What is that?
Right.
Is this about them?
So what's happened there, in my opinion, is what's happened is people have taken isolated comments out a whole interview
and put it in clips
and put it now. I'll give you, for instance, what he's saying is maybe the youth of today are more looking at social media and what they're wearing and caring about than actually. Correct me if I'm wrong. I never read this in Wikipedia, but you getting told as a youth player, go and shine the boots, go and sweep that stone, go and do this, go and do that. I'll give you, for instance, Kyle Naismith. Remember him? Mm-hmm. Kyle Naismith. So he was, when we were in the lower leagues, the boy was there. He played maybe a handful of games for Rangers or whatever. I had went down, they were playing, Accrington Stanley were playing Everton. I was working down south, so I said, I'll go to the game. That boy drives up, brand new, big Land Rover. There's the Louis Vuitton man bag and everything. And I'm like, son, you've not kicked a ball yet. And you're driving a motor I can only dream about, But
it's funny you're saying clean boots. I was playing golf with Ian Durant down at Dundonald.
I was talking to him. He said you were there, bomber and all.
He said he cleaned my boots. And I didn't give him any money for doing it. I says, well, I only had one pair of boots. I played with the same boots for 3 seasons. And they got holes or they were damaged. I put them into the cobblers. It's true. So I says, you only had one pair of boots? No, he says, well, I did from number 1 to 11. I says, but you only had one pair of boots to clean for 9.
That was like the goalie. They had on with one pair of gloves.
Yeah, Peter McCloy. And he went to ask
one pair of gloves.
What the manager, no joke, Wallace, Wally Waddle, and he chased him out of the office. He says, no, you only need one pair of gloves.
I think they've got about 4 or 5 strips for every game now.
I know. That red strip, don't
the goalies have got 30 pair of gloves each, two different colours.
I was told that John Terry wears 3 pair of boots on a match day. He wears a pair during the warm-up, takes them off, signs them, puts another pair on for the start of the game. Half-time, takes them off, signs them, puts on another pair for the second half. You couldn't get away with that in my day.
So
I'll give you a laugh. We're up at Dingwall, which wasn't very funny the other week.
Yeah.
And every time there's a goal, the ball went off. And I'm like, so it actually happened against Dundee where there was 3 of the balls were deflated and they had to keep swapping them anyway. So we're up at Ross County after every goal, the ball's getting rolled away and we're like that. What the hell? So what happened was, see, every time there was a goal, they raffled the ball for charity
Did they?
after every
Good
goal.
idea.
Aye.
Good idea.
It just there was only 2 Rangers at bed anyway, oh no.
Right, I'm going to cut me a couple of the comments that I just see coming up on the screen here. Right, what have we got? Alex Kelly, pleasure to watch and listen to Bobby Russell. Too early for me, but my dad said he was magnificent for Rangers. Remember him and Coop link up at Motherwell too and win the Scottish Cup.
Yes.
So that's Alex Kelly that's put that one on.
Keith Hamilton there. There
we go.
Mulligan's worth another year if he's not on a high wage like the prima donnas. Well, I'd like to see him. I'd like to see him getting another year.
I've always rated Balogun.
As a backup.
I like
Nice.
Balogun.
But he's 35.
Mm-hmm.
He's 35.
Remember, Davy Weir was 39.
I know, but Davy, the problem with Davy Weir, no, the problem, Davy Weir was playing every week, right? But that's the thing. So the old joints were, Balogun's only coming in and out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's no kid ourselves, one swallow doesn't make a summer. You know, he had a great game at the weekend. I totally agree with what everybody's saying, but he's 35. Now, if we're going to have one as a bit, we've got 4 centre halves. In your opinions, what do you do there?
I would give him.
Balogun came on the season we beat Celtic. That's the one, and he had a great game that day against Celtic as well, and that's when I rated him for.
But he sent half against Celtic in the last game at Park.
It reminds me of Big Bomber Jackson and Tom Forsyth. No nonsense centre halves. You know what they're capable of doing.
But we're looking for a centre half that wants to attack the ball.
Yeah. You need somebody in the team like that.
And he wants to have a go. And
the modern game now, it's all about passing the ball. The goalkeeper's got to be very useful with the ball at his feet. In fact, it comes to the point where the goalkeeper has more touches than the outfield players. That's when it becomes a bit of a joke. But that's the way the game's evolved.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it or lump it. I don't particularly like watching it at times. But, you know, there's some great games, great technical ability, but it's all about entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
When we played, it was told
it's
entertainment.
The Rangers midfield, you know, we were talking about players going and different things. What do you think for the best pairing there that we've got to know? Would you bring Laskin in? Are you quite happy with the boy Demonde along with Lundstrom? Lundstrom looks as if he's tired.
Yeah, he's played a lot of games. I think I'm not the only one, but I was quite excited about Raskin. I thought he was another kind of.
I did myself.
Alec McDonald and what's the wee boy, the wee Italian boy that played for Rangers?
Gattuso.
I thought similar type of player, you know, gets a bit of digging. We need somebody in the midfield who's going to dig and put the tackles in and stop play. And he excited me. And I think I wasn't alone.
I like your boy Diamondi, but the problem is he needs to be sponsored by somebody like Mother's Pride or Sunblessed, and they need to get him to start eating outsiders because the boy's about 7 stone wet, right? See, once he bulks up and he gets used to the Scottish game, I thought the difference that he made on Sunday was quite frightening compared to the previous 2 games where he was out.
Would you be happy to, and I like Lundstrom and I've never criticised him, but he does look tired and he looks leggy. He's losing the ball and he's not getting back where he used to before. Would you be happy with Sterling and the boy Demonde in the middle of the park with legs? Or do you need a leadership?
In my opinion,
personally speaking, I think Lundstrom is the first name you put down in the midfield. And then you get the permutation in there. You get some. I like Sterling. I thought he was our best player against Celtic. And then he's dropped for the not dropped, but he's on the bench. I couldn't understand that.
No, and I think he's wasted at left back. And I know we've got a problem there now with the boy Ridvan injured, but I think he's wasted. I think he's going to be his midfield or right hand side to cover for Tav.
Yeah.
I don't think he's The problem we had for a few games there is we tried to play him as a winger, and he's not a winger,
No.
right? For me, he's your ball winner. He's the guy. So against Celtic, I would have liked to have seen him up against McGregor and just say, right, because, you know, everything was going through, or everything for Celtic, mostly, I know he's been injured for a wee while, but goes through McGregor. Just stand there.
Aye,
Just
don't
don't let him play. You know, rather than us. But what we've tried today is we've tried Cantwell there, we've tried Dowell there, we've tried Lawrence there, and these guys. Here's one for you. So, a couple of weeks ago, I was working down in Sheffield, and I went to the Sheffield Wednesday Norwich game, and it was the boy Kenny McLean, Rangers supporter, their captain, dominated the game. Dominated it, right?
Is she not a forward? Does she not a forward?
No, he's in midfield.
Is he?
He's dictated the full game.
I
know he's of an age, so I thought, right, okay, watch the next game against Preston. See him again, dominated it. But sometimes there's a snobbery within your support that go, he's not good enough. He's playing every week at a decent level. He's a Rangers fan, all right, he's getting on in years.
A lot of Rangers.
What you forget is he was in youth development.
Yeah, totally.
So he's been deemed no good enough by Rangers.
Aye.
Now you're saying,
they're the biggest example.
He was a good player.
Aye.
We spoke to wee Fergie on the show a couple of times about the biggest example. Lewis Ferguson wasn't good enough for Glasgow Rangers. Then he's at Aberdeen. We could have got him for £1 million. Wasn't good enough to go to Rangers.
There'll be many players that will.
You couldn't buy him now. No. You couldn't buy Lewis Ferguson.
I know it's a different level. I know
the biggest one, Kenny Dalglish.
No.
Doesn't get any bigger than that.
I know it's at a different level, but so far Hearts have went out and signed 3 players for Scottish clubs. Signed the boy for Ross County, the boy for Livingston, the boy for Motherwell, Spittle.
Aye, I have decent.
You know what I mean? That'll do a job for them.
Well, I mean,
I know there's
spoke about all the doom and gloom.
Yeah.
We're sitting here, Rangers are in the Scottish Cup final.
Yeah.
They've won the League Cup.
Yeah.
And they're still in with a chance of winning the league.
Yeah.
You know, it's not beyond them to go on and beat Celtic at Parkhead.
No,
Celtic might drop points. You know, you never know.
You're hoping that
it's capable.
You're hoping the semi-final there gives them a wee lift, because that was a downer. I didn't fancy us on Sunday after the 2 games.
I thought we'd win the game. I thought we'd win.
It was a bold move for the manager to drop Golson.
Yeah,
a bold statement. I thought for him to drop him,
and it was good enough to come out and
paid off though.
Aye, but it was a good. It was good what he done when he got interviewed, and he said he's played too many games. He was rested. I was going to rest him against Dundee, but Balogun was injured, so I've rested him this game. And he didn't come out and say, he's not been playing great.
He didn't. I noticed that. That was a good managerial.
Yeah,
here's something that I'll get shot down in flames, right? Why not play 3 at the back?
He's never done that.
They've never tried that formation.
No, he's never done
it. We're arguing about who's the best 2 centre backs. Why not play with the 3? And get Tav further forward.
And Redvan
further forward. Or if it's Baracek.
Aye.
I don't know that we've got the players for it, because I mean, the game the other week, we never had a single player on the park that was left-footed. Not one. Now, I know it's small details,
but that's
like
the balance
of
the team.
The balance of the team. So, all at one side, you're getting somebody try to tackle with a wrong foot, if you get what I mean.
Yeah,
somebody's running at them. And I just think when the manager came in, he said that the team was unbalanced, right? Where we've got 5 people for that position, right?
For the other.
We've got so I think McCausland, Sima, Cortez, Silva, right? We're all left-sided wingers, but we had nobody for the right. Matondo, you know, we had nobody for the right.
Right. But that was done to the previous manager with what he brought in, and the manager will go to new candidate on about that.
Alex Kelly's just put Lundstrom drops between the central defenders, which pushes up our fullbacks.
Yep. So he's covering. Yeah,
and that's why I was saying the wee bit there about. I know he's not a winger, the boy Sterling, but he can play in that role to cover when Tavernier goes forward,
Oh,
because
he's got an engine in him.
why we're guilty for getting when Tavernier goes forward, we're guilty of getting caught down that side,
Yeah.
and we still never learned any lessons for it. And I think when I'm getting a wee bit older now, and on the games he's played, he's not getting back as much as you would, and you can see it now.
See every goal that we lose, nearly every single goal that we lose on the transition. It's when we're breaking forward. Teams attack us at pace.
Oh, they know what to do.
Because they know what to do.
Right.
They know what to do, and that's where I think with the Celtic game, and then with Ross, it was like 6 goals in 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
Nearly every one of them, apart from
By the way,
mistakes,
it was 10
transition.
goals in 4 games.
Aye, transition.
And their defence was good.
I was looking forward to the Celtic game, and the second and boom, we're 1-0 down. That would take the sales out of any team.
Yeah,
Because the
sure.
crowd's up.
Yeah.
You've got the
And
crowd
it's
behind you.
understandable that Rangers struggle,
And
and Celtic got the lift that they needed.
Needed.
But you've got to give Rangers credit for the way they came out in the second half.
I'm sitting in the stand, and the place is bouncing. We were all there, and the place is bouncing before the game, and you lose that goal in the first minute.
Oh,
They've killed.
Momentum.
They've killed
25
the
seconds
fans
or
right
something,
away.
wasn't it?
And they've knocked the stuffing out of the fans, and all. They're going, "Oh, what's happened?"
It took a wee while for it to catch their breath a wee bit after that happened.
If Rangers start on the way they were meant to start there and get into Celtic right away there, it's a different game.
But, and it's a huge but, as Bobby says, we're still in every competition.
Aye,
no, I
I
know
know.
that.
You know that we live to fight another day. I mean, we're 3 points behind. Is it a big task? Of course, it's a big task. But if anybody had said to me when we were listening to Michael Beale, just before he left, that you would be getting into the final, 5 games, 6 games to go. You've got a cup final. You've got 5 games to win the league. I'd have snapped the horns off you.
How do you think we'd be sitting if the board had backed Gerrard after 55? Do you think we would have got more titles since then if he'd backed?
No, 100%. But the thing about it is
Because I just feel we went
do
right
you know-
down the way for that.
do you not think it was a clash
That
of
was gonna change
personalities?
Change of players as well.
Well, I don't know.
There was something must have
listening to
happened,
people
Stan.
inside.
There must
Listening
have
to
been.
people inside Rangers, I think he went for the boy Nisbet for 5 million, and
Yeah.
the board wouldn't back him to go for. And he said, "I need a centre forward. Give me 5 million to buy Kevin Nisbet," and they said no. And I think he sparked a dummy.
Gerrard,
he knew he was
then
not going to get
Beale,
any money.
and then-
One of the biggest problems, and our chairman spoke about it last year or the year before, is we're player trading. Our player trading is awful. Celtic had a player in the boy Turnbull who had 6 months left his contract, and he got 1.5 million for him. You don't want to be here, on you go. We're not letting you run down your contract. See you later. 1.5 million, right? We've only got a few sellable assets left in our team now.
Aye,
And
exactly.
that's, we have to have a value in our squad.
Is that didn't
There's-
Ross Wilson? But
There's well,
it's going to
it
be.
was. I think it's Ross. There was Ross Wilson and there was the manager, Michael
Yeah.
Beale. Rightly or wrongly, Michael Beale let Kent and Morelos and everything go for nothing. He let it run out.
And it's still happening because you're going to get you've got Barisic out of contract, you've got Jack out of contract, you've got Roof,
Yeah.
other contracts winding right. There's maybe about 5 or 6 here and now, and they can all go, and we're not going to get nothing for them.
No,
Nothing.
it's going to free up a lot of wages, but we're not
They're not getting the money to buy them.
We're not getting the money, and then we're having to replace them. So the big question, I think, this summer is, where's the money coming from? Because they have to back the
Well,
manager.
you went to the Armadillo the night that
Yeah.
the manager and
Yeah.
Jack Buckland was there
Yeah.
as soon as, and that's what he said. He said we're into next season's budget because we're buying the Monday.
Mhm.
And that's no this budget for the now. That's next season's budget. He said, I know before I took the job, I've not got a lot of money to work with. He said, I know that. He said, and that's why I've got to depend on bringing free transfers, loan players in. He says, because the money's not there. And he said, I knew that before I took the job. And it makes the task harder.
That's, again, I'll reiterate, that's where the youth development comes into it.
Totally.
There's no the Alan Huttons coming through who go for 8 million.
Gilmore, we had Alan Hutton
Patterson.
and Patterson.
Patterson as well, aye.
And they've been, apart from Bassey and Aribo, they've been my biggest,
Aye.
what we've brought in.
Bill McAvoy's asking, guys. Hi, guys. What's he put? Where is he? Lost it. Let's see. What positions do we need to get for next year, and who would you like to come in?
I'd like the Aberdeen centre forward for 3 million, but they're plugging 3 or 4 million in Shanklin. The two of them.
The two of them.
Aye.
What's his name again? The
Mitchell or something like that.
Mitrovic. The problem is Stan thinks he's playing FIFA again. FIFA Manager. Just bring in all the strikers. What we need, in my
I would take two of them.
only my opinion, we need a spinier team. We need a spinier team.
But they're proven goal scorers right now in the Scottish League. The two of them are scoring goals, especially the Aberdeen boy, because Aberdeen's not a good side.
Yeah.
But you're getting a goal off of him every week.
Yeah.
And the same with Shanklin. Shanklin will come off a bench for you and get you a goal. We've not got anybody at Rangers in it that can do that. Have a chance in the box and put it away.
didn't do well against us though.
But that is the problem, right? See, in my opinion, see the two guys you're talking about. I agree with what you're saying. In principle, they guys should be good enough for Scottish football. But let's not kid ourselves. Every team we play against, your Dundees, your Ross County, has every man behind the ball, and then they hit us on the transition. Right? They're just waiting to hit us on the transition. Against Dundee and Ross County, both teams went man for man. Now, where is Shanklin and Mitrovic, if that's his name, are getting the... No, I think that's the way it was at film.
There he's here.
Majowski, thank you.
Majowski.
Thank you. Where are they getting the space to get the goals? Now, don't get me wrong. I would like to strangle Dessers sometimes. Right?
Yeah.
Because unless he puts somebody in their backside he doesn't want to shoot, right? But these guys, for Scottish football, they should be good enough. But I get what you're saying.
Alex is asking...
I agree with you away, but what I would say I know is what you've got to look at with these guys. Shanklin scored against us this season and they scored 2 or 3 against Celtic. And the Aberdeen boys done the same.
But look where Aberdeen are in the league, right? That's that. See what we are noticing. If you look at the boy Lammers, the Lammers has scored 80 goals for Utrecht since he went in January, right? But he can't live with the pressure of being at Glasgow Rangers.
Aye.
There's a lot of players.
There must have been a lot of boys at your time, as you say, man. That just didn't.
Off the top of my head, I'm trying to think. Of course, you've got Ian Redford came.
It took him a while to sell.
And for me, he didn't get the credit he should have got. Ian Redford, he was a superb player. I'm trying to think of other players. Cammy Fraser, very unlucky. Good player, but again, when he's at Dundee,
that's a difference for Dundee to go into Glasgow Rangers.
Ian Ferguson, that was at Dundee United and Hearts and everything. He was a great player as
Fergie
well.
Didn't score simple goals; he scored spectacular goals, and he scored important goals.
Aye,
and big games.
We've Dean on, haven't we? He's been
on. Aye. But you're saying there at your time and looking back that it's not as bad as it was. I mean, what was it? The Dutch boy, the goalkeeper,
Waterus.
No, it was well be bumped for
Snelders.
I mean, 5 minutes before a Celtic game.
Andy Webster.
And he couldn't. And there's another example. Webster, that was a prime example of a guy that couldn't put the jersey. Walter Smith let him leave Rangers and go and loan to Dundee United, and he get player of the year, and we brought him back and he was injured again.
Yeah.
Right, as soon as Rangers bought him, he didn't want to play, he just couldn't handle it.
But look at Ryan Jack. Ryan Jack's played less than half the games for us in the space of his Rangers career.
And he probably lost a game.
I know.
I'm not a doctor or a physio, but I think stress comes into it.
Yeah.
If you're under stress playing games, I think your body can seize up.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of injuries are caused by that.
Aye.
I'll give you an example. It happened to me. I played, my very last game for Rangers was over in Finland, in Tampere.
20 minutes, Tampere, aye.
And after the game, I didn't play very well. I got absolutely berated by the two, Walter Smith and Graham Souness. Rightly so. I was poor. And when I woke up the next day to go to the airport and go on the flight, I could hardly walk. And it was all through trying too hard and stress, worrying about, I'm not doing well here.
Yeah.
Right.
This could.
And you're trying to test.
Yeah.
Well, see what you're saying. In January, when we were away with the team, the manager was talking about the training as well and the type of training that they were doing. So what he said was the type of training that they were doing was not for longevity. It was for the here and now. So what he said was, if they were playing Saturday, Wednesday, all the way to the end of the season, he said at some point their bodies are going to break down. If you look at the boy Cortez that we've brought in, I don't think it's any coincidence that he wasn't playing a lot of games. I know he's out injured when he's came back. It's just their body.
No, there's one I picked up on there, Ian. Was we were talking about the boy in the Monday, right? He plays on Sunday, the great game. But I can never mind the way back your time or even Souness's time, a guy out for 2 games with a broken thumb. He'd have been strapped up, you'd have been on the park.
It's a different time.
Was it definitely
But that's
Steve Thumb that he missed the game?
I mean, the Steve Thumb and he missed 2 games.
I get operated on it, and as far as I know, the wound was opened. So listen, it was. I know what you're saying, but it's the problem we've got is it's no the old days. So I watched some of the videos. Right?
How many a squad when you won the treble did you have? They weren't a lot, weren't they? No. You won the treble with 15 players or something like that. Wasn't it?
If it was that.
Aye.
But that's testament to Big Jock Wallace's training methods.
Yeah.
Aye, but
it was hard, but it was, it was a good mixture. We got days off because we were winning. So we would work hard, say, on the Monday, or get the Monday off if we've got a result on the Saturday. Work hard on the Tuesday, get Wednesday off, and then Thursday. And Friday was just basically playing behind the goal at Ibrox, 5-a-side. It's dinosaur stuff here. And Big Jock would watch it for half an hour and see us buzzing about and go, right, away you go. Report whatever time.
Aye, but they've changed it. Why have they changed all that? And
it's athletes now. It's athletes now. I don't mean that to be cheeky, but see if you could see Usain Bolt. I mean, he was making it as a football player because all they need to do is run. Right? If you look at, so somebody said to me the other week, we're getting up in the motor, and somebody said, that Barcelona team were the greatest football team I've ever seen, with Messi and Iniesta. And I said, can you imagine them playing the Liverpool team with Graham Souness? I said, Messi wouldn't have touched the ball. I said, it's a different game. It's a different game altogether. I watched a video the other week, and it was Maradona. And he was in this game, and I think about 6 of them tried to take him out. Can you imagine that now? It's a different, and that's when we're talking about the 2 centre halves. The centre halves seem to be now, one can pass the ball forward, but one can defend. We got up to Ross County and the guy's throwing his cell in front of every ball, guts and thunder. I still think we need that. I still think we need a guts and thunder centre half.
That's where I think you've got the A game or your plan A, then you should, if you're going up to Ross County, it's going to be a battle. So you've got to say, right, we're going to win here, but we're going to win ugly. So we're going to plan B.
Yeah.
No all this fancy passing the ball about at the back and getting losing the ball in that area that's where opposition want to go.
They hurt you.
Because they've got less players to go by and there's a better opportunity of scoring. So you take that away, that scenario. Play the ball up, squeeze it, and play in their half. It sounds easy, but if the players are told to play in a certain way, but I always felt that when I played with Rangers, my first season in particular, we had another strategy. If the first one wasn't working, you'd either make a change or
change your system.
Change the system. And the game I remember, and you'll remember it as well, Stan, we're getting beat 2-0 at home against Celtic.
3-2.
And big DJ's playing at the back centre half.
Wilson scored 2 goals.
He brought John Gregg on, Mr. Ranger at half time, and he put Derek Johnson up front, and we won 3-2.
3-2. Aye, big advance and scored 2 goals in the first half.
That's right. So, it's having that ability to play players and change the formation or change personnel.
We don't seem to do that, change formation.
Do you know what scares me more than anything watching your football team just now, right? Our inability to score for set pieces and corners. I don't know, maybe somebody can put up in the comments what the actual stats are.
Somebody put on it that Balogun's the only one that can header the ball.
But that's the thing. We cannot score for
I'm sure somebody, I was talking about it in my boozer last weekend about the corners, and I think it's something, I might be wrong, it was something like we're scoring a goal for a corner out of every 180 corners.
But that's not acceptable.
No,
We're getting 30 corners in a game and no testing the goalkeeper.
That's no
And
acceptable.
I'm not decrying the big guy Goldson, but the best header he's had was the OG. He put right into the top corner when he was trying to clear it. He can't do that when we try to score a goal.
By the way, the podcast that he was very informative, where he was saying about his boy, possibly having the same heart condition he's got, and it brought it home where he's talking about the pressure of playing for Rangers. He's like that, if you draw or you get beat, you wouldn't even open the blinds in the house,
You've got to remember as well, when you go back a couple of seasons, Rangers were losing games when he wasn't playing.
Exactly. You were missing them.
The stats were saying that when he played, they were winning more games.
So something's wrong. Yeah.
I say he's been taken out of one game. That happens. You get dropped. If you're not playing well, you get dropped. It's a fact of life.
And the thing is with the manager, what you're saying there, a lot of people are saying that him and Tav are undroppable, and he's dropped him now. So he's been brave enough to do that. And I think he made a statement there a few months back there with Cantwell. We spoke about it before. Cantwell, he put Cantwell out wide and he shouted to Cantwell, keep wide. He kept drifting in and he said, I'm no a winger. And he's kind of swore and he was off. And I think he made a big statement there because he's a big player for us.
Yeah.
And I think he's went, no, he's not talking to me like that. Yeah. But that makes a statement with the full team. And for him, he did that with Goldson and all. It maybe gives him a shake-up and it gives Tav a shake-up and Lundstrom to say, well, listen, if he's going to drop him.
But sorry, just quickly, the one thing I will add, no matter what anybody says, Tav and Goldson turn up for their work every week.
Aye, that's what I was going to say.
Every single game, they're there. They don't. They're no hiding.
Is that two games Goldson's missed, and how many?
I mean,
seasons?
They don't hide.
Seasons,
they don't hide.
But even friendlies.
Aye, they don't hide. They don't hide.
I mean, a lot of times your friend will come up and they'll say, "Oh, we'll drop a cut over," but he's in the team. I'll give him that.
It's very easy to sit here and be critical.
I know
about one or two little mistakes.
Yep.
Over the piece, his time there, he's been a good player for Rangers.
I know. I wouldn't take that.
I mean, I've been probably one of his biggest critics when it comes to defending.
So am I.
But you can't take away his goal scoring feats.
Aye.
That's amazing.
Aye, but I've spoke to Barry Ferguson and guys like that played kind of up to date for my modern game, and they said that's the modern fullback nowadays, getting forward, scoring goals, putting close. But I'm used to seeing a right back and a left back.
Mm-hmm.
So it's maybe just because we're a wee bit older. I
mean, the end of the day, defenders are there to defend the goal and stop opposition from scoring goals.
First and foremost, that's my belief. I mean, the Rangers have always been blessed with good fullbacks. Gary Stevens, Jimmy Nichols, Ali Dawson, Dave McKinnon.
But again, it's
John
a system.
Greggs.
It's a system. The system that we play dictates the two centre halves are there. As Alex said, Lundstrom comes in to cover they two. We're two full backs going forward. We've got three in midfield, and then we've got these three up front. The two wingers cut in all the time because that's what the manager's telling them today. Matondo scores a goal against Celtic because that's what the manager does. And then we've got the big striker that misses a lot of shots. But anyway.
I know. Guys, we're running out of time here, right? So just before we just finish off, thoughts for Sunday semi-final. What did you think of the game?
I thought Hearts gave Cantwell a lot of space. I wasn't expecting
Now, just the brief version, Ian.
the result. I wasn't expecting the result. I thought we done well.
Well.
I thought it was very bold of the manager to make that decision in a semi-final. Very bold.
Definitely.
I'll just say one thing. My big mate had £150 on Dessers to score a hat trick.
Oh,
True story.
yeah.
And he's sitting and he's saying to his missus, right, the tennies that are in this box today are going to Portobello Zamora if he scores a hat trick. And then he's shouting down, Claire, make sure I've got extra leg room and get that brought. And he was. We were going. And he nearly scored 2 or 3 goals.
Yeah.
And I take him for a hat trick. He'll tell you if I'm lying. I take him to score a hat trick. It started off as a joke, but I take him to score a hat trick for every game. I'm getting sectioned at the end of the season.
Right, we've got St Mirren as well on Sunday.
I
Which
must
is
win.
predictions? Must win, obviously.
Must win very hard. I think it'll be a hard game. They'll make it very tough for us.
Game plan B.
Aye.
Win ugly.
Win
As long as
ugly.
they win.
Yep.
Totally.
And then do you think, what about Celtic Park? We've got to go to Parkhead.
Different ball game. But
Well, thanks for having me on.
Is that another hour
No,
podcast?
listen, it's a must win. We need them. We need them to be brave.
Well, I've got to
We need
forget
them to be brave.
what's happened in the past.
Of course.
Yep.
You know, the game's been finished at half time in the last couple of games. So they've got to forget that. I hope they're not listening to me and I've just reminded them. So they've got to weather the storm, stay in the game as long as they can and nick it.
Or do what we done, frustrate their fans. What they done to us at Ibrox.
Aye.
See if you frustrate them,
Uh-huh.
the longer the game goes
Goes
on,
on.
the more we've got a
and
chance.
and I'm not just saying that because I'm biased. My honest opinion, they're not a great side.
But
I
we
agree.
so just quickly, they've had Scales, Welsh, Ralston, and Taylor as a back four this season, right? And they're sitting top of the league. If we can't get in amongst that, then I don't know.
Do you know what they have though? They've got guys up front that if they get half a chance,
Of course
for
they
it,
do. Of
and
course
we
they do.
haven't.
But we've got Dessers.
That's the difference. Hat trick Dessers.
Hat trick Dessers.
We've got a hat trick before the season coming for you there.
Oh, Christ.
Right, guys, thanks for joining us tonight on Follow We Will podcast. If you would like to sponsor, get in touch with Stan or myself. Also, remember to get involved by subscribing our YouTube channel, liking our social media pages, and following Follow We Will Legends podcast. It's been a pleasure speaking with you both, Bobby and Ian. Thanks very
Brilliant,
much
Bobby.
for coming on. It's much appreciated. And this is the last podcast of the season, Stan,
Yes,
isn't it?
yes.
So, did you not have a wee bit you wanted to say? No?
No, just thanks. I thank you to all the sponsors for helping us through the season. Hope you are all back next year. And we'll have
We've thoroughly enjoyed it, haven't we?
It's been great.
It's
really
been
good.
a great hobby to have, and we're really enjoying having the sponsors. And
Aye,
doing it.
fantastic.
brilliant.
Thank you.
So thanks very much to all our sponsors for supporting us as well. And we will see you all again next season. Thank you.
Brilliant.
Good night.